Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about direct object pronouns and just about articles as well because they kind of go hand in hand. So what is an article? What is a direct object pronoun? Los artículos van ante un sustantivo. Por ejemplo, decimos the, ¿no? En inglés decimos the. En español decimos el or la. And if it's plural, we say los and las. Um, those will also transfer over to direct object pronouns. Like if you're saying it or they, like I have it or I have them. If I'm talking about things, we often say them for things as well, right? You wouldn't think about that, but like if I have these markers over here, I have these markers, I have them, I have them, right? And so I have them. Um, en español, vamos a decir los, and the reason why is because el marcador is masculine. And so if you have two markers, you say los marcadores, in which case los tengo. I have them. I have them. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the board, and we'll go ahead and start where we always start, which is with the format, right? And so we have to remember that the format of subject pronouns, los pronombres de sujeto, technically they're also personal pronouns because they replace people. So yo is I, tú is you, él is he, ella is she. If it's a personal pronoun, it could also be him or her. And then it replaces a thing in English. In Spanish, if it's a direct object pronoun, we'll say like lo or los or la or las, and we'll talk about that in a second. Nosotros means we, vosotros means you guys in Spain, ellos and ellas both mean they or them, but you only use ellas if they're all females. And then ustedes, this is the abbreviation for ustedes, means you guys, not to be confused with vosotros, which also means you guys. But ustedes is used in Latin America, right? Whereas where is vosotros used? En España. That's right. En España. I recommend going back and watching my videos from the very first video where I talk more in detail about these. But let's go ahead and talk about direct object pronouns now. So 1 second while I bring that up. Direct object pronouns are often they're often abbreviated. Well, there's here they are. Direct object pronouns. So there it is, DOPs. A lot of times teachers will put DOP for short. So direct object pronouns. That's what it stands for. If we follow the same model here, the format, then may replaces yo, te replaces tú, él, ella, it, usted. It's going to be lo or la, depending on if whatever the thing it is referring to is masculine or feminine. So if I'm referring to her, like I say, I see her, I say la veo. Ver means to see, la veo. Please watch the video that I made about regular ARERIR verbs in the present tense. La veo, la veo. So here's the issue. Every time we learn a new noun in Spanish, for example, if I say la guitarra, you want to make sure that you get la in there because that way you know that the article is la. It's to know whether or not the noun is masculine or feminine. Some of the nouns, or actually most of the nouns, it's really obvious. If it ends in an A, it's going to be la for the most part. But every now and then you have funny ones like la mano, right? And that means hand. Guitarra, that means guitar. What about El agua. Now, there's not a lot of these, but there are some of them. El agua. Here's the thing with agua. It actually is feminine, but there's a rule in Spanish that you can't have la before a word that starts with an a, where the emphasis is on that syllable. So agua has the emphasis on a. Therefore, you can't say la agua in Spanish. And there's other nouns like that. Águila, for example. El águila. El águila means eagle. Technically, this is a feminine noun, but you're going to say el águila, because of the rule that you can't have la followed by a heavy a or an emphasized a. In this case, águila has an emphasis in the pronunciation over the a, águila. It doesn't mean that it has to have an accent mark. Agua, it has the emphasis in the pronunciation on the second to last syllable, also known as the first syllable in this case. And so it doesn't need an accent mark because we already know that the emphasis is on this syllable, because by default in Spanish, the emphasis is always on the second to last syllable unless the word has an accent mark somewhere else, or if the last letter in the word is a consonant other than N or S. And there's a reason why that rule exists. But right now, what I want to talk about is basically if the emphasis in the pronunciation is right here, right before the article, then the article has to be el if this is a. But what about if it's plural? Then you can say las aguas, because now it's las, and that doesn't break the rule. So we say las aguas or las águilas, because águila, it is definitely a feminine noun. And so what you can do to find out if it's feminine, I'll show you a certain website here. This is probably my favorite website for looking words up in Spanish. It's the official Spanish dictionary website. It's called La Real Academia Española. In Spanish, there's only one dictionary, one official dictionary, and this is it. Not like in English where you have like a bunch of them, Webster's and Merriam or whatever. There's a whole bunch of them. I can't remember all their names. But anyway, so La Real Academia Española is the only official Spanish dictionary. And you can look this website up and type in a word like águila, for example. Águila. Águila. It says right here, it's feminine. Nombre femenino, ave rapaz diurna. And so it goes into, describing what kind of a bird it is, 80 to 90 centímetros de altura, etc. And it has a few other definitions as well. Like, I guess it's a coin in Mexico, but even that is going to be feminine. It does have one masculine definition for a pez, especie de raya. I've never heard of that fish. Is a pez, es un pez. So I don't know, but there you have it. You can go to this website. What's another one? Planeta. Planeta. You would think that planeta would be a feminine noun, but it isn't. Planeta, which means planet, is el planeta. And look, you can see right here, it says masculine. And look what it says. Cuerpo. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Cuerpo celestial is what it said. So planeta. And that's the cool thing about this website is every single word is hyperlinked. So, I mean, be careful not to click on them, I guess. But right here, you can see. Cuerpo celeste sin luz propia que gira en una órbita elíptica alrededor de una estrella, y etc. And then it gives some examples. Mercurio, Venus, la Tierra, that's where we live, Marte, Júpiter, Saturno, Urano, Neptuno, y Plutón. Oh, I've never heard of that one. Wonder what that might mean. Pluton. Pluto? Ah, Pluto. I thought they got rid of the planetary status of Pluto, but maybe they put it back the way it was. Anyway, kind of getting off topic here. So let's stop sharing this and go back to our favorite little whiteboard. And so we can put like el planeta. El planeta means planet. There's another one. El tema. El tema means theme or topic. El tema. So these ones are masculine. So this is la guitarra is feminine. La mano is feminine. El águila is actually feminine. Or sorry, el agua y también el águila. El planeta is masculine. El tema is masculine. Now, most of the time, you don't even have this problem. You have like, la taza is a cup. La raza is, well, that means race. That also is feminine, but I meant to write la taza. La taza means cup, and that's feminine. El teléfono, right? El teléfono. El teléfono is a phone or a telephone. And so most of the time it rhymes. Like 99% of the time in Spanish, it'll rhyme. And so if it's a, it'll be feminine and it's la. If it's o, then it's masculine. And in the singular, it'll be el, but in the plural, it'll be los. Just like it will with feminine. Las razas humanas. The human race, or the human races, or las tazas francesas, the French cups. So in Spanish, you have what is called concordancia. La concordancia in Spanish is where things have to match in number and gender. It's called agreeance or agreeing. I'll just put agreeing because I don't know how to spell agreeance right now. I mean, I think I could probably figure it out, but sometimes I get surprised and it's like, it's not even a real word. I'm like, wait, did I make that up? So agreeing, okay. La concordancia, we say, for example, if you have, so yeah, in Spanish, nouns and articles, nouns and articles. Actually, let me put nouns, articles, direct object, pronouns, etc. must agree in number and gender. And so that's an issue that we have in Spanish. And this can be kind of hard for non-native Spanish speakers or people who are learning Spanish, because not all languages are like this. We do have agreement to some degree in English. There's also verb conjugations, right? We definitely have plurality and singular versus plural in English. Not too much of gender. There is a little bit, like waitress versus waiter. But anyway, let's do some examples here. So if you have la guitarra, now I can say la tengo. So that means the guitar, I have it. The guitar, I have it. La tengo. We know that tengo is the yo form of tener. I recommend watching my video on irregular verbs in the present tense if you're not familiar with that. So, la guitarra, la tengo. The guitar, I have it. So this la right here is this right here, it. La tengo, I have it. If you have two verbs in Spanish, if you have two verbs in Spanish, oops, then you can put the direct object pronoun before the conjugated verb or after the verb in the infinitive form. Oops. And it has to be attached to the end. And so let's do some examples of that. You can say, for example, I want to have it, right? So let's go ahead and make it plural. So las guitarras, yo quiero, that means I want, and then tener is to have, tener. Notice that if I have two verbs, quiero tener, only the first verb gets conjugated. The second verb stays in the infinitive form, meaning it still ends in an ER. Or if it's an AR verb, it'll end in an AR. If it's an IR verb, then it'll end in an IR, right? That's the infinitive form of the verb. The conjugated form of the verb is when the ending has changed to something, right? Quiero, that's conjugated. That's the conjugated yo form of the verb querer. In the infinitive form, it's querer. Querer is an ER verb. It's also a boot verb. I recommend watching my video on boot verbs. All right. Las guitarras, yo quiero tener las. Yo quiero tenerlas. That means the guitars, I want to have them. Now, you can also put this las right here. You can have it attached to the infinitive form of the verb, or have it attached to the end of this last verb, or you can put it before the conjugated verb, which would get you this. Yo las quiero tener. Yo las quiero tener. Yo quiero tenerlas. Yo las quiero tener. And so both of those mean the same thing. So you can have it that way or that way. Las guitarras, yo quiero tenerlas. Las guitarras, yo las quiero tener. I'm putting las guitarras first just so we have the context so that I can give you both of these examples. You can also say like los planetas, right? It's el planeta, los planetas. The adjectives, that's another thing. So la concordancia, the nouns, the articles, the pronouns, etc. Well, it's going to include like the adjective forms, right? Maybe I'll add that in. Adjectives. Los adjetivos must agree in number and gender. So if I say, for example, los planetas. Los planetas, comma, me gustan los rojos. Me gustan los rojos. ¿Cuál de los planetas son rojos? No sé, Marte, Júpiter, otro planeta rojo. Saturno, quizá un poquito. Venus, ¿no? Venus, Mercurio, quizá Venus, no tan rojo. Algo rojizo, ¿no? Pero Marte sí, es muy rojo. Y Júpiter, un poco rojo, un poco anaranjado también, ¿no? Rojizo. Podemos decir rojizo. Entonces, los planetas me gustan los rojos. What does that mean in English? The planets. The planets. I like the red ones. Notice how the red ones, los, it would be like them. I like them, right? I like them, or I like the red ones. Now I've turned it into the red ones. Ones is referring to the planets, and it has this adjective, red, the red ones. In Spanish, we have to use this direct object pronoun that matches the article of whatever it is that I'm referring to. Los planetas, los tengo. The planets, I have them. Los tengo en la palma de mi mano. I have them in the palm of my hand. Whoa, No, I'm just joking. I don't really have the planets in the palm of my hand. That might be kind of cool though. All right, but a lot of responsibility, mucha responsabilidad. Quizá no sería tan bueno. Maybe we can do a couple more examples here. So what if I say the Eagles? I have them. How would I say it? What if I say the eagle? I have it. I say the eagle. I have it. What do you guys think? Remember, I have it. We're going to do that with tango. Tango. Do you remember how to say the eagle? It's el águila. Águila. El águila. Now, is águila masculine or feminine? Remember, this one's a tricky one. It has el here, but it's lying to us. It's actually feminine because there's a rule in Spanish that you can't have la águila. You can't have that. Just like you can't have la agua. You can't. But we know from the dictionary that águila is feminine, and so is agua and other nouns like that. So we say la, el águila, la tengo, la tengo. The eagle, I have it. How would I say the eagles? I have them. The eagles, I have them. How would I say that? The eagles, I have them. We say Is eagle masculine or feminine? Eagle. El águila. Yeah, it's feminine. So it's la águila, but we can't say that. We have to say el. But in this case, it's plural. So we say las águilas. Las águilas. Las tengo. Las águilas las tengo. The water. I have it. El agua. La tengo. El agua la tengo. The waters. I have them. Las aguas. Las tengo. Yo tengo las aguas rojas. I have red waters. It has to match in number and gender. What if I say, I have the blue waters? Las tengo. Las tengo. Las aguas azules, las tengo. Yo tengo las aguas azules. Yo tengo las aguas amarillas. Quizá sería mejor no tomarlas. No debemos tomar agua amarilla. ¿Verdad? ¿Verdad que no? Okay, let's see if we can do a little exercise on these. Okay. We're going to answer these questions in the affirmative, okay? We're going to say, ¿ves el libro? And we have to answer using a direct object pronoun. So we're going to say, yes, I see it. ¿Ves el libro? Do you see the book? And we're going to say, yes, I see it, okay? So we say, sí. Actually, I'll put the answer right here. It'll be, yes, I see it. That's what we want to put down here. So, ¿ves el libro? Yes, I see it. How do we say it? We say, sí, lo veo. Sí, lo veo. Yes, I see it. All right, let's do another one. I say, ¿ves la flor? And we're going to answer in the affirmative. Yes, I see it. How do we say, yes, I see it, when we're talking about la flor? Oh, by the way, what does libro mean? Libro means book. El libro is a book. La flor is a flower. How do we say, I see it? Yes, I see it. Correcto, decimos. Sí. Do we say lo or la? Flor is feminine. So we say la. Sí. La veo. Yes, I see it. La veo. Okay. I think yeah, let's do one more. Let's do one more. Let's do one that's trickier, okay? Let's do one that's with what if I say ves mis manos? Ves mis manos? And now we're going to say, yes, I see them. Yes, I see them. Yes, I see them. Do you see my hands? Do you see my hands? I'm putting mis right here. instead of the article. But how would you answer it and say, yes, I see them? You would say, sí. What do you think? Is it going to be los or is it going to be las manos? Yeah, it's going to be las. Sí, las veo. Yes, I see them. All right, I'll have to do another video on double object pronouns eventually. And that's where you use indirect object pronouns in combination with direct object pronouns, because sometimes you have a verb that's like an intransitive verb or a transitive verb being used intransitively, and like when you're giving something to someone, right? In which case, I'll just do one really fast. I'll just do one right now. How about that? But eventually, I'd like to do some more, I want to do a more in-depth video on this. But Raquel quiere la flor, which means, or sorry, I meant to say Raúl. Raúl quiere la flor. Raúl, I think that's supposed to have a accent mark above it. Raúl, right? Raúl quiere la flor. Raúl wants the flower. And then we're going to say, give it to him. Give in the to form. Give it to him. Give it to him. Now, if you've ever watched my videos on command forms, if it's an affirmative command, then the object pronouns or any pronoun that's used in it is going to be attached to the end of the verb that's in the command form. And we know that dar turns into da, all right? Give it to him. So we're going to say da. Now, normally, da is a transitive verb, meaning if you want to say like give, then you need something to give, and it's going to require a direct object pronoun, like one of these, a direct object pronoun, like give it, give it. But it can also be used intransitively because you might give it to somebody, right? And so an indirect object pronoun, which we talked about, are like the pronouns used with verbs like gustar. You say le gusta, me gusta, te gusta, le gusta a él. And so if we're talking about the third person, if I want to give it to Raúl, then I say da le, right? Da le. But then la flor is la. Well, there's a rule in Spanish that you can't have le la. You can't have in the third person, you can't have a direct or an indirect object pronoun and a direct object pronoun in the third person like that next to each other. The Spanish teachers have the famous term or expression, you can't have le lo in Spanish. Le lo is a no. So how do you get by it? For whatever reason, this is the way you do it. The le has to turn into a se. Da se la. Give it to him. Da se la. Anyway, I'll do another video that's a little bit more in depth on this, okay? In this video, I mainly just wanted to point out that in Spanish, nouns and articles and direct object pronouns and adjectives, they must agree in number and gender. All right. And so if it's an adjective, for example, let's do one more. We say like la rosa, la rosa roja, the red rose, right? Or I would say La rosa amarilla. La rosa amarilla. Let's say las rosas rojas. Or las rosas amarillas. Las rosas amarillas. These don't need periods because that's technically not a sentence. Remember, a sentence has to have a subject and a verb. This just has an article, a noun, and an adjective. Anyway, I'll be making more videos on these, so espero que esto les haya ayudado mucho y nos vemos en el próximo video. Hasta luego. Oh, hasta luego. Esta vez, en serio, hasta luego. Nos vemos en el próximo video. Chao.